If you are a first-time buyer, you should listen up. Our next guest is gracing our set for the first time. Please welcome real estate advisor, Gabe Mendez.
Here he is. Gabe, what's up, man?
Morning.
How you doing, brother?
I'm well, man. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Excited.
So, I know you do a lot of selling and buy sides in the real estate industry, but you've been working with a lot of first-time buyers,
right?
The past couple of years, and that's sort of given you, I think, an insight and an expertise in that arena that exceeds the average agent. Tell us about what you're doing with first-time buyers and what first-time buyers need to know right now in this market here.
All right, good question. So right now, with working with a lot of first-time home buyers, especially this past year with the crazy market that we've had, I've noticed that a lot of first-time home buyers are just uneducated. They don't know, right? And you don't know what you don't know. So you can go on Google all you want, you can research anything you want, but if you don't know what to ask, you don't know what to look for, then you're missing that much more information. So a lot of things for buyers, for instance, is the first thing that I come in contact with, I think the best place to start is renting versus buying. You know, a lot of people around my age and older and even younger are renting, and as you know as well as I do, that the rental income is at all-time high.
Yeah.
I was researching the other day, and it was crazy to find out that in San Diego County, the average cost of a two-bedroom place to rent in San Diego is $2,100.
That's the average?
Average in San Diego County.
Oh
now,
gosh.
Some places may vary a little less or a little more than, but
that's a very high average.
Right, exactly. So San Diego.gov is where I got the information from. So prices are high. It's ridiculous. And so I'm talking to a lot of my friends and family. I'm like, listen, if you're paying X amount in rent, well, let's start with that example there, $2,100. That could qualify a lot of first-time home buyers for a purchasing power of up to $350,000. I mean, if you're out there, go on my website, GabeMendez.realtor, and search properties on the Sandacor, because I have the IDX set up, and find out what $350 will do for you. And I'm telling you, single-family detached, I mean, there's just so many more benefits to doing that. So a lot of first-time homebuyers are uneducated in that. And I mean, that's our job, is to go out there and to provide that information for them. So what I like to do is sit down and consult with them and kind of show them the ropes of how simple it really is to get out of that situation of where you're renting and taking that same amount of money and putting it towards something that you can build a value on. A lot of renters also don't know this, that they're actually paying a mortgage. It's just not theirs.
Right. Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah.
I think, one thing to not forget too, because I think everybody wants to look at the rent versus own analysis and go line by line and then look at the monthly implications, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll find that when you balance it all out, it's usually pretty much the same, whether you're renting or buying. And sometimes you have a really big advantage to buying because you do get some tax incentives. But in the long run, the cornerstone to any good retirement strategy is to own a home. If you own a home, this is where you don't have to make a payment. So that's what I mean when I say own a home. You've made all your payments.
Right.
Now you own it. That means you're going to be okay. No matter what else you've done in your life.
Yeah.
If you haven't saved a dime, if you have to be a greeter at Walmart, okay, you're going to be okay because you don't have a mortgage payment to make. Yeah. You just got to buy food.
Yeah, it's true, man.
I mean, so it's not just an investment and it's not just housing expense on a monthly basis. It's really a hedge. That's the way I look at it. It's a hedge. You say, okay, well, I'm going to pay, instead of paying $2,100 for my two-bedroom this month, and then next year I had to pay $2,300 for the same unit, and then the next year I had to pay $2,500. What you're doing is you're saying, no, I'm going to buy a house, and I'm going to pay X number of dollars every month for the next 360 months, and then I'm done. Mm-hmm. That's a hedge.
Right.
You're hedging against the inflation. You're hedging against your opportunity for retirement in the future. So it's not just about the rent versus own calculation on a monthly basis. It's also about the long-term stability of your own financial future.
Exactly. So also the investment portion of it, and I talk to a lot of first-time home buyers, like, well, what are the advantages? And that comes back to my point again, which is they don't know what they don't know. I mean, building equity is the American dream, right? I had a first-time home buyer last year, never owned property in California, or never owned property, period, in the United States, owned a couple of properties down in Mexico. But the rate of return, I mean, the equity that he built in the last 12 months, which I just saw him this past weekend, we bought a home for him, closed escrow last September of 2015. On Saturday, we sat down with one another a couple of days ago. This guy had already built $45,000 in equity. He had the property appraised because he wanted to refinance, lower his interest rate. $45,000. He left the money inside there, didn't touch it. And I looked at him like, how do you feel about that? He's like, well, I don't know how to feel about that. I'm like, do you understand that you've just earned an extra $22,000 annually or pardon me, another $40,000 annually the last year. That's like another full-time job. Where else can you just sit, do your job, live with the family, and travel, and earn an extra $40,000? Who knows what that's going to end up 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. So that's another advantage, renting versus buying.
Yeah.
And I was proud of that.
Yeah, the opportunity for appreciation is a big one. In fact, we just, on our reality show, Win This Listing, we just met with a homeowner and military, single income military family, and they bought their house in Spring Valley for around $300,000, maybe 5-6 years ago, something like that. Now it's worth $400,000.
Wow.
So now after they've made payments and all this, and they were shocked. They thought, oh, maybe it's worth $320,000, $330,000. That's gonna be worth about $400,000. So they're going to make all that money, and by the way, tax-free. That's the thing. No capital gains when it's your primary residence. You've been there more than 2 years. So this is going to be more money than they've ever thought that they would have at one time, and that's pretty cool.
That's so awesome.
It's really, really cool to see that. Like, well, what are you going to do now? Now you have some real money to invest or to stock away, or they have 3 kids. I mean, that's college money. Right there. So yeah, the opportunity for appreciation is also something that doesn't show up on that rent versus own monthly payment calculator. Is that opportunity for appreciation and what that actually will do for you in the long run. What do you think about areas for first-time buyers? Is there any area that's like a sweet spot that they should be looking at?
You just said it, Spring Valley. So I've noticed that Spring Valley is an excellent place for first-time home buyers to start their purchase. I'm not sure what it is about Spring Valley, but properties appreciate there. I mean, they're a great starter home. You get a lot of home for your buck. And I think it's one of the best places in San Diego County to start. For a first-time home buyer to purchase a property, to have enough home to live in a nice neighborhood, and to center location. You have a couple of freeways by there. You have the 125, 54, and build some equity over time. And then after that, transfer that equity into a new project. A new purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay. So Spring Valley's the one.
Spring Valley's the one.
So
man.
Nailed it. All right.
Nailed it. Yeah. You're good, man.
Hey, what about like programs for first-time buyers? I mean, there used to be incentives and different things like that. I don't know. Do we have anything like that anymore?
Good question. So that's another thing. So programs galore.
Really?
I tell a lot of first-time homebuyers, listen, there are city programs, there are county programs, there are government programs, first-time homebuyer programs to help people purchase and get started in that American dream. Programs that are as low as 3%, down. There's some programs out there that even help first-time homebuyers who, if they qualify, with the income and all the other things that they have to meet, the requirements they have to meet, that they'll actually pay for their down payment and closing costs. So it's a beautiful, there's just something for everyone. There's something for everyone. So if you're looking to purchase a property and you're out there, you're thinking to yourself, man, I have minimum funds in my account. I have a credit score of 650. It's a horrible credit score, right? Which is well above what we actually need to even get you qualified. I only have $10,000 in the bank account. Well, hey, listen, let's sign you up for one of these programs. Let's see which one you qualify for. We'll get your down payment covered for. You have 10 grand in the account. Well, that's your closing costs. And well, you're hiring me, so I'll negotiate those closing costs into the deal. It's a beautiful thing. So there's a lot of programs out there to help these first-time home buyers, to help them purchase. It's just that the information's not readily available to them. So we have to get out there, and once again, I allude to, the fact that we have to go out there and push it. Let them know that, hey, these programs are available, let's get you help.
Yeah, and let's not forget, too, for all of our military folks out there, that you've got the opportunity to buy a home with no money down.
Right.
And no mortgage insurance.
No mortgage insurance.
So you had 100% loan through the VA, no mortgage insurance. This means your payment will be lower than someone who's putting 5 or even 10% down.
Right.
The payment will be much lower, hundreds of dollars less per month. So huge opportunity, especially for people out there that are VA eligible.
So a lot of, we live in a very dominant VA community, San Diego, with all the military basing that we have here. So a lot of the younger folks who are living here are going to be stationed for a while. I mean, take advantage of those VA benefits. It's huge. Just last year, we have a retired VA couple who purchased a property with no money out of pocket. I mean, they use their VA benefits for no money down. We negotiated the closing costs. And I mean, I can go on about it, but I mean, it was a beautiful thing to watch happen. So yeah, first-time homebuyers, VA people, really just sit down and look at some of the programs, because you might just be right there already. I'll give you an example. I have a buddy of mine who I went to high school with, and just last night I spoke with him. He re-signed a lease. Signed his lease again for 1 year, a one-bedroom studio. Oh, pardon me, it's a studio, 700 square feet. This guy's paying $1,450 a month, right? So I'm like, how much money have you dumped into it? He's like, too much. I'm already on my 2nd year lease. Are you getting anything out of it? He's like, no. What's your credit score? And it's him and his girlfriend, so it's more than what they can afford. And what's your credit score, talked to him a little bit. Had I talked to him maybe a week before, he could have been in the house. But I mean, his credit score was at 670. I mean, he had X amount in his account. Mentally, he was ready to do it. He just didn't know. He said, Gabe, I wish I had talked to you. I just didn't know. So I mean, that kind of sparked a little something inside of me, which is why I'm glad here today to kind of go out there and be a little more proactive about that. Letting people know, first-time homebuyer programs, plenty of them. San Diego, Chula Vista, we'll get you a place, we'll get you qualified, and we'll go through the entire process.
Fantastic stuff. Gabe, thank you so much for your time today, man.
Of course,
appreciate
man.
it. Great to see you. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.